All right, in class today we studied how to convert from one thing to another using this chart right here. And we put in the indications for, first of all, going from atoms to moles. And when we do that, we use this equality right here, which is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms equals 1 mole. And I abbreviate that as AVO because that's easier to remember. And once you have AVO in your head, you can get this guy. And then if we're going from moles to grams or grams to mole, we're going to use chart. And so that's the chart means the periodic chart mass, which is equal to the mole of any element. And on the periodic chart, where are those numbers located? Right here. See, every atom has a different number, and that's called the molar mass. And the molar mass means how many atoms there are if we have 1 mole of those atoms, or how many grams we have if we have a mole of the atoms. And a mole of the atoms is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So for aluminum, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms would weigh 26.982 grams. For chlorine, a mole of chlorine atoms, which is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, is equal to 35.354 grams. I'll get it right. And so we've got the grams that equals 1 mole of chlorine atoms. And one more, indium. 114.818 grams of indium is going to be equal to 1 mole of indium atoms. And a mole of indium atoms is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So let's go back to our other chart. And from this chart, we're going to be able to specify either chart or AVO to do the conversion that is specified over here. So if my given is going to be here, and let's start with the first one, grams, and we're supposed to find moles. So how are we going to do this conversion? We're going to do it by reference to this chart right here. So let's go back and look now to get grams to moles. If we go back here, we see grams is sitting over here and moles is sitting here. And all we have to do is the chart, and that will take us to how to convert. We only have one step. All right, let's go back now and look at moles and particles. So moles are sitting here and particles are over here. The atoms are the particles. And there's only one step again. Only this time we're using the AVO number. Okay, so in this guy, all we need is AVO. And that will get us from moles to particles. Now, let's try moles to grams. Okay, let's look back here. Whoops, went the wrong way. Okay, moles to grams. Here's moles, here's grams. Very simple, isn't it? We just see that that's a chart. And so a chart is what goes here. Now, let's do particles to moles. Particles to moles. What do we get there? Particles are sitting over here with atoms, and moles are sitting here. And why don't we just write this into particles, okay, because particles goes with atoms, and let's just circle that, keep it separated from everything else, and we'll just move that little guy over a tight. There we go. They're not together yet, so I gotta move them both separately. All right, there we go. So we're going moles to atoms or particles. And if we're going particles to moles or moles to particles, either way, all we need is the AVO number. Now, let's try this guy. You're going to see this is going to be a little different. Atoms to grams. See, there's only two kinds of these kind of problems. So we go back here and we see that atoms are over here and grams are over here. Oh, that means we're going to need both the chart and AVO. Now let's do this in the right order. And what does that mean? We're starting with atoms and we're going to grams. So atoms is what we're going to use to start the calculation. And so we start with atoms, we get to moles by using AVO, and then we're going to have to use the chart after that. In other words, there's going to be three fractions. The first fraction is the given. Then the given in atoms is going to be converted to moles using the Avogadro number. And that's our second fraction. The third fraction is going to be taking the moles over to grams, which is going to be done with the chart. So, what do we have? Atoms into grams is going to start with AVO, but it's also going to need the chart. Because AVO will just take us to moles, and the chart will take us to grams. And now let's look at grams to atoms. Well, this is the same thing in reverse. To get grams into moles, we've got to use the chart. And let's go back and look at it on the chart. You see, grams to moles, we've got to use the chart. And then we have to take the moles into atoms, and that's going to use AVO. And that's why we're going to have our three fractions again. And that's it. That's the way we do it. And hopefully this overview is going to help you really understand. Notice that we did not need anything other than one step to do all of these kind of problems. But in the second types of problems, see, all of these guys are the same. These are all one-steppers. Here, down at the bottom, we have two-steppers, which involve three fractions. And the three fractions are the given, the conversion of AVO to mole, with AVO to moles, and the conversion from moles to grams using the chart. And so our second fraction is going to be derived from this guy, and our third fraction derived from this guy. Hope this helps.